The province of Almeria, Spain, is an example of smallholding with fast development thanks to the expansion of intensive greenhouse horticulture. With a semi-arid and drought climate and with a massive migration, Almeria was registered as the poorest Spanish province in 1955. Almeria family farming is predominantly cooperative greenhouse with intensive production consolidated after the 1960s, which resulted in very significant social and economic benefits for the region. The subsequent economic and social development of Almeria was closely tied to the establishment of both credit and agricultural cooperatives business models. The cooperatives in Almeria have increasingly relied on collective collaboration and coordination in order to meet social economic aspects, being thus able to act as both market and non-market coordination mechanisms, balancing the economic, social, and environmental dimensions. At present, in the southeast part of Spain, there is the largest concentration of greenhouses with more than 31,000 hectares used for vegetable crop production and some other 1,500 hectares in outdoor and over 15,500 farmers organized mainly in cooperatives. The volume of export comprises almost 72% of the total production. With a turnover of 2 billion euros and a production of 3 million tons, it contributes with 30% of Andalusia's agricultural value and offers more than 75,000 agricultural jobs for 115 distinct nationalities. In this context, it is worth mentioning that 45% of the European vegetable come from Spain, out of which 75% come from Almeria. Almeria's exportations are among the top 4 global exporters. Thus, it is the first global exporter for eggplants, the second global exporter for peppers, zucchini, and watermelon, and the third one for cucumber, and the fourth global exporter for tomatoes after Mexico, Netherlands, and Jordan. The entire region of Almeria is concentrated and depends on agriculture. This has led to a fruitful collaboration among different sectors such as education, research, co-ops, and co-ops associations, tourism, and some other local industries, including plastic suppliers and recycling organizations. The UAL, University of Almeria, Spain, has been founded in 1993, until then existing as a college of the University of Granada. It is particularly involved in research and activities related to agriculture and development, such as viable fruit production, sustainable management of natural resources, and climate action, but also a balanced territorial development. Since its inception, UAL has developed alongside the local cooperatives and social economy, providing services and learning from the cooperative. UAL has followed the expansion of the cooperative sector in Almeria with focus on both local enterprise and increasingly international competitive pressures, all of these demanding ongoing change processes. COESVAL is the Association of Fruit and Vegetable Producers of Almeria, Southeast Spain, the majority of the members being small-holding agricultural cooperatives which jointly market their products. It was created in 1977 as an association of 17 cooperatives to provide common services and to get much-needed market power and recognition. Currently, COISFAL includes over 100 cooperatives and cover 65% of export and 70% of fruits and vegetable production in Almeria, with a production of 2 million tons, a turnover of more than 1.6 billion euros, 8,100 farmer members, 20,800 hectares under cultivation and employing 35,000 workers. COISFAL offers different services to the cooperatives: cooperative training, management of research production, management of promotional activities, prevention of labor risks, laboratory for analysis of residues, lobby to negotiate with the government, local and national. Cooperativa Agricolă San Isidro is an agricultural cooperative with the main activity to sell products from the agricultural holding of its partners through the downward auction system. The headquarters and auction center of CASI can handle up to 3 million kilos of tomatoes per day. It is a unique example of a cooperative started with a diverse portfolio of products, then gradually transformed into a predominantly single product focused cooperative. The tomatoes is now their main product for marketing, comprising 95% of their portfolio, although they also market watermelon, melon, zucchini, and cucumbers. CASI represents 30% of the total tomato sales in Almeria. All other activities are focused on client service, the sale of inputs, technical services, business advice, etc. The Cahamar Cooperative Group is a consolidated group of credit institutions authorized and qualified as an institutional protection system by the Bank of Spain. Caja Rural is the first Spanish rural savings bank and the first Spanish credit cooperative. Currently, it is the benchmark financial group of cooperative banking in Spain with 3.4 million clients and 1.4 million members, 930 branches, 140 agencies, more than 5,400 employees, over 100 financial agents, as well as 6 itinerant office vehicles that provide financial services in rural area to 42 towns with less than 1,500 inhabitants. In the new European Banking Union, the Cahamar Cooperative Group, due to its size and volume of assets, is considered one of the 12 significant entities of the Spanish financial system. Las Palmerías. The Cahamar Experimental Station is a benchmark technological center in intensive Mediterranean agriculture, from where technology and knowledge have been transferred to the sector since 1975. They have some 4,000 visitors a year passing through the center from more than 40 different countries, aiming to learn about the Almeria model and check in situ facilities that are benchmarks in terms of passive greenhouse technology. The idea of this center was to help the farmers with experiments that would improve the efficiency and profitability of their crops without need to take financial risks to do so, in case they did not end up being fruitful. Thus, Las Palmerías is today a meeting point for producers eager for answers from entrepreneurs who want to venture into alternative crops, as well as those who want to improve the quality of their product and the profitability of their production.
With all the talk about new business models, particularly the European Union is so fond of, we need new business models, everybody needs a new business model. We have a perfectly old business model, which is really quite effective, which is the cooperative business model. Now, I'm not a fundamentalist or a fanatic about cooperatives in the sense that if they're not adequate, then we should insist on them. If it's not a business form that actually fits with economic activity, there's no need to push that. But in many ways, it's an area that is unexplored for creating value for economic activity. And I think that that's very interesting, particularly in agriculture and the transformations that agriculture has to go through. Because agriculture cannot just be focused on production. There's a whole value chain there that we have to explore, and whether it's environmental goods or the social impacts that it has, etc., etc. And I think the point here is that when we talk about cooperatives, they're a business model, but they're also about creating economies that function for the people who live in those economies. Okay? So, as I said before, I'm not a fundamentalist in cooperatives, and I think it's really important that we understand, if we do choose that as a business model, how do we have well-functioning cooperatives? Because the worst thing is to impose a cooperative on people as an ideology, and then it doesn't work for the people that it's supposed to benefit. Okay? So, from our perspective, if we're dealing with cooperatives, we also want them to function as viable businesses. So, you'll be going into governance later on, you'll be looking at regulation, tax, etc. during the week. You'll be talking to various cooperatives and seeing how they function as businesses and what benefits they give to their members. We'll be talking to the financing side of cooperatives, which is always very, very important, okay? And the role of cooperative finance in these ecosystems. Okay? So the nature of cooperatives, they're not top-down, they're not charitable entities, no? It's about understanding it as a strategy and business structure. Okay? So our Almeria case study is about a community that it was historically very poor, and Julian, our vice rector, mentioned that before, and now reasonably thriving, which is not to say that we don't have a lot of problems, and you will see those this week. Okay? So a lot of challenges that we have. And in fact, I think right now we are in an incredibly delicate and crucial moment. Okay? And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Okay? So we want to talk about the interaction of the farmers, the agricultural cooperatives, and the credit cooperatives, and other institutions that have made this cooperative development happen. Okay? Very important in this is the cooperative role in generating innovation. Okay? This is precision greenhouse agriculture. So it's extremely dependent on technologies and innovation to be competitive. Okay? Now each of these little greenhouses is a farm. Okay? And that's basically what's owned by families. People often think of Almeria as this big plastic sea, right? It's industrial. And they think, oh, it's a big corporation. No, 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 no. This little quilt is farmers. Family farms. Close to the sea. Now people wonder why in the world would you build these greenhouses so close to the sea? It could have been beautiful, natural air. Well, the reason for that was it was land at that time that nobody else wanted. It's the only land that the government was willing to sell to these poor, desperate farmers. Okay? Now we're inside the greenhouse. Here we are. This is a modern one. That's one of the main, had been one of the main crops. We're known for our tomatoes. We also have eggplants. And you're welcome to have all of these pictures, so don't worry. And this is where the cooperatives come in. Okay? The family farms are owned by, or the farms are owned by the families. The cooperative function is at the marketing and packaging and processing. Is that Coopspal as well, within their research department, has one of the more knowledgeable people on biological pest control and protection. So we have Cajamar, we have Coopspal, and they have this large network of technicians. Every 2 weeks, there is a meeting of the technicians at Las Palmerias. At Las Palmerias, which you're going to tomorrow. So this is another level where the cooperative system develops knowledge systems and networks. So that you have your small network within the cooperative, but then you have the inter-cooperative network, which is promoted by the cooperative bank and the association. Why is that so much in their interest? Because it's always in their interest, particularly from the cooperative bank, that their farmers are doing well, because if the farmers do well, the bank does well, right? So this is this whole construction of the cooperative virtuous system. And it makes economic sense. It's not just some sort of flowery words. Right? By creating this network structure, and advisors are a crucial part of this, so we talk about all the other actors, but advisors are really crucial here, is that it's a way of acting collaboratively through the cooperative system to strengthen the technical and the production aspects.
CASI's facilities in La Canada, Almeria, is a cooperative specialized in the cultivation of tomatoes, which account for 99% of its production. 230,000 tons from about 2,160 hectares, making it the largest tomato cooperative in the world, employing more than 1,000 workers. It is a balance through the combination of a European auction model and direct marketing. In fact, 30% of the cooperative's operations are already direct sales, and this percentage is expected to increase to 50% thanks to the new members. The auction hall has a capacity for 120 buyers. These are paid between 7 and 10 days after their sales. The merchandise is brought in the afternoon or in the evening. The auction starts at 9 a.m. and continues until the entire production has been marketed. The brokers are paid by the clients, one broker having up to 10 clients. The clients have to present a banking guarantee or have to subscribe to a specific insurance. With its airport, CASI are now working to expand markets also in Scandinavia, where they collaborate with retail chains. They also aim to expand in Eastern Europe.
Well, it is a long story. It's a long story, 75 years of story. But basically, on the 70s, 80s, we start to grow a lot quickly because the system of growing, greenhouses and things, come a lot of production, right? Then the market start to open, you know, on the 90s, the east of Europe. So we start from France, and then the center of Europe, and then the east of Europe. Poland was very important for us on the 90s. And we grow the production, but the market grows in the same times. So we were lucky in this. We were lucky. And the 10% was the same or less.
The owners of the cooperative are the growers, basically?
The members. Yes. They are the owners. Yeah.
So the growers are the owners, yeah? And you have the directive, I saw the presentation yesterday, the board direction. Who decided in time for this investment, to invest in the new deposits, to invest in cards? Who decide? Only the specialist or the growers?
Yeah, both. We've got the highest level of the direction is by growers. It's 10 growers that were voted by the other growers to be this direction. Then just behind is the main managing, you know, it's the gerente is called. And then down the gerente, we've got 5 strong sales department, it's the human department.
Vice directors.
Yeah. So the growers are on the top. The investments are decided by the general manager with the
Those 10?
Consejo Rector, it's called.
So with those 10.
Yeah, with those 10. And they fight them.
Yes, I understand, but not all the growers. Not like
Not all the growers.
They go together
All the
once per
growers,
year and
all the growers join twice per year, twice or 3 times per year.
And they can decide about what, is my question. That's, basically the 10 growers decide to invest and so on with the director, but what is the decisions the growers can make?
Well,
about what?
It's impossible that the whole Assemblea is called, they decide every day, it's impossible. But they join 2 or 3 times per year for a decision that
the main direction.
these 10 people think, oh, I think this is better than the general, they decided. But the day-by-day decision is taken.
But you have the system of dividends for the actionaries? You have that system.
You need to pay an amount to come into CASI, like grower, and this amount grow till you go out. You know, when you go out because you got your I don't know the word. The pension or retirement. You stop working, so you take your money, and your money used to go out normally.
But in the end, you receive it in the
By this moment,
annually.
no.
Kind of,
No. Normally it's by the end. This is the
I
decision.
saw cooperative with these annual dividends.
No, not dividends per year. The dividends per year come to the reservation, the capital, to grow.
You decide to invest.
To grow.
So you said your turnover figure is made of the 10%.
Yes,
So
basically.
actually what the transaction, you are an intermediary between the producer and the final customer. You don't invoice for the whole value of the product, just for the...
No.
10%.
We invoice the whole production.
Okay.
And on the invoice, we take out 10% or we add to the customers.
The price is like,
Okay.
10%.
But
Now
this
we are-
doesn't go to your whole turnover figure.
Yes.
It goes or it doesn't?
Okay, we've got now the whole turnover
Yes.
is nearly to 200 million.
Euros. This
Nearly.
This is the value of tomatoes.
The
that you
value,
sold.
the total value of tomato.
Okay.
Tomato and the inputs that we sell.
Okay. Okay.
And then we pay to the growers,
Okay.
we pay to the transport, we pay the lights, we pay the
The
investments.
salaries.
Okay.
Can you remain with the profit, like what percent of profit you have in the end?
You need to look fine because I don't know. It's not high profit, right?
It's
It's
not
not
high,
high because we try to get the more price to the growers. So the highest season is in this moment, about January, February, March, and April, May. This is the high amount of growing. Okay. And we divide the work between 3 different centers. This is one. This is the main center. This is the auction center, and where we make about the 50% of the amount. Here, what we do is selling the growers' production by auction. They pack it according to the standards of the European Union, the market, by size and by color, for example, and in different boxes. And we sell by auction. You will see inside. The other center, which is very important too, is the packaging center, where we sell not by auction, but we sell in the destiny prices. I don't know if you understand this concept, but this is a very technical warehouse in where we make the packaging according to the customer's orders. It's a very simple system, very old system. We've got some dealers, some brokers. They come every day, between 80 to 90 brokers, and they come about 9, because the auction starts at 9, more or less. And we fix a maximum price for one variety, for one reference tomato, and this price goes down in the wall by screen, and the broker who expect to pay these prices, they need to stop by a button, and we fix several prices for each variety, and then we choose the product outside. It's difficult to understand this process because early in the morning the brokers come here, they have a look to the product, how it's packing, because what we do is the grower needs to pack in the high quality. Same color and same size and cleaning boxes. So the best quality is the best price normally. So when a broker stop price and pay the highest price, they choose the first. You understand this?
Yes.
So the rest of the brokers must wait to the rest prices. They wait the turn after the highest price. Right? Yes, they must buy the minimum is one block of the grower. For example, if you are a grower and you've got some vine tomato on the size M, medium size, and you've got 200 kilos on this, and I want your product, I must buy 200 kilos.
All the product.
All the product on this reference from you. I cannot divide this. This is the minimum.
Yes.
Okay, the difference between auction and destiny prices is auction is the price here. You know? It's the price now, today. Right. And the destiny prices is when someone from Belgium called me and say, I would like one truck of a kind of tomato in a specific packaging. What is the price? Okay, the price for this in Belgium now is that price. So it's different system. Normally, when we sell by auction, we used to work with wholesalers. You know wholesalers?
E franco-furnizor și franco-beneficiar.
That's right.
Beneficiarul
And then,
sunt și...
when we sell in destiny prices, we used to work with supermarkets. Right? Supermarkets do not like the auction because prices move a lot. So they need weekly or monthly prices. That's
The auction, it's every day, including
the auction
Saturday,
is
Sunday?
from Tuesdays to Saturdays, not on Sundays. Sundays and Mondays, no. And we have two special days for auction, which is Tuesdays and Saturdays, where growers used to, they grow and they harvest and they pack on Mondays, and then we sell Tuesday. Wednesday is the day of auction, but the amount is less. Today, for example, in the warehouse for auction, we've got nearly 1 million kilos, which is very, very, very high. And then probably we have in the rest of the centers nearly 1 million kilos. So probably today we will sell 2 million kilos. One grower in Cassie has a medium size of hectares of 1.5. So one grower can have 3, 4, 5 hectares, and the other can have 1. So your amount is different than yours if you've got 10 hectares.
Yes.
You bring here and we sell to you. But if you join all the production of pine tomato on M size, you will find a lot of amount. So for the market, Cassie is very interesting because you can find enough production of one kind of tomato.
Who are the brokers? And who are the brokers?
What about this?
Who are?
Who? Well, the brokers normally are local people, you know? Local people that have contacts in the destiny markets in whole Europe. Because Cassie in this
It's their
moment,
job. It's their job.
it's their job. Yes, they buy for the customers.
Big customers.
Yes, but the customers used to pay the commission, and Cassie pays a commission, of course, per kilo.
Are they the same each year?
They
or
are.
Who can came?
They are, and we prefer they are the same every day.
The broker need to pay a kind of guarantee to the auction.
Not the brokers, but the customers. Customers need to show the guarantee, bank guarantee, or insurance guarantee, you know?
COEXFAL, Agribusiness Advisory. COEXFAL, the Association of Producer Organizations, which represents over 70% of the growers and almost 100 of the agricultural cooperatives, is essential in the commercialization of products and the organization of cooperative sector. In order to support the cooperative of Almeria, the Association of Producer Organizations, COEXFAL, has an active human resources department which provides advice and services to their members, including the service of contracting workers in the country of origin to avoid exploitation of immigrants. It is also in charge with subsidies, risk prevention, production techniques and control of plugs, quality control, laboratory analysis and investigation, administration, training, marketing and foreign promotion, research and statistics, communication, insurance and travel. Larger cooperatives may have their own administrative commercialization, market, technology, warehousing, training, quality and HR departments. One of the services well organized is the system advisors.
From a completely different perspective, these are the legal powers of farm advisors in the Spanish system. So all farm advisors, they have to be associated, they have to belong to a professional association of agricultural advisors, right? We have one here in Almeria, which is very powerful because the number of farm advisors in the region is very high compared to other areas. So these are the legal powers. So these agricultural advisors, they are the only professionals which are allowed to do advisory in integrated pest management, right? They also deal with safety and food quality issues, and also they are entitled to develop gardening and landscape projects, to do studies and reports, to do studies of viability of investments, reports on change of use, as probably happens in your country. If you shift the use of your land from arable or rain-fed agriculture to irrigated agriculture, you have to apply for it, and they may agree, or the administration has to authorize it. Okay? They are also deal with regional planning and environment. If I want to build a greenhouse or I want to build a water reservoir to irrigate my land, I need to develop a technical project, and farm advisors are the ones who do these kind of projects. They do assessments of damage in relation with the insurance system that we have here in Spain. They do measurements and topographic surveys. They do management of finance and insurance, and also they are involved with the operational risk prevention, right? So, as I told you before, the advisors must be registered in an official association. They have to follow the statutes and work according to the deontological code, which expresses good practices according to professional and ethics rules. They have to have civil liability insurance, and here in Almeria there are around 1,400 members. Probably you know the figure very well. There are around 32,000 hectares of greenhouses in Almeria. Of course, not all the farm advisors are busy only with greenhouses, but if you make a very simple calculation, that gives you a number of one advisor every 20 hectares of greenhouses.
This knowledge, let's say you have a new advisor. The advisor is hired based on his studies and experience, or the cooperatives have like a library of knowledge which advisor promote, like you have to learn all this to say to the people, or you based on what he knows. And the second, you put there the idea of insurance is like a malpractice. You give a bad advice and something is wrong and it's covered by insurance.
Yeah. So first question, if somebody becomes an advisor following his university studies, if he hasn't been involved in a greenhouse since he was a child, he has to learn. His profession, he has to learn a lot.
It's a lot like learning.
Yes, I thought about theory and practice, and
So,
the advisor
yes,
has to have practice.
And of course, every cooperative has its own style of doing things and its own way of building this relationship with the growers. Some of them are they have more personal relationship, others are more distant from their associates, right? So is the technical team itself the one who educates the new advisors coming into the family, right?
Yes,
But-
they are
but-
educated
exactly.
also.
Also, there is a possibility to jump from one. Advisors are, of course, free professionals, and they are free to change the cooperative they work for, or even change and jump to a supplier, to go for a supplier, or the opposite. Right? And insurance, what I mean is that, for example, we had 4 months ago very severe floodings here in Almeria, after which something like several hundreds of hectares were destroyed.
Right.
It was a huge, it was just massive storms and floods at the same time.
It never rains here, but when it rains,
So insurance is for the farmer, not for the advisor.
no, but the advisor is the one who has to do all the technical reports to apply for these funds to rebuild their greenhouses. Right?
I have a question also. The representative of the input for the farmers can do some advice for farmers.
Yes.
By a representative, I don't know, savings representative or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, every supplier here, growers, they go to kind of, what do you say in mathematics? Warehouses. They buy the fertilizers and they buy the chemicals for the pesticide application, etc. And normally these warehouses, they have advisors on contract, and they provide advice to the customers. And sometimes this advice is in contradiction with the information they get from the cooperative advisor. So exactly, because their interest is completely different. So there is where trust comes in the game. So
Also, some of the suppliers are cooperatives. Suka is the thing. You're right.
The sophisticated agriculture and horticulture of Almeria is due to a very important extent to both the technological support and the advice given by the test carried out at the Las Palmerias facilities in recent decades. The work carried out within the station, both from the point of view of research and the transfer of this knowledge, is structured into 4 main fields, which are greenhouse technology, biotechnology, Mediterranean subtropical fruit growing, and agriculture and environment. The center has an area of 14 hectares and a total of 32 greenhouses, some of just 500 meters and others of up to more than 2,000 square meters with diverse characteristics. Cahamar has designed an annual structure of conferences in which all the information and conclusions made by the center's team of researchers are revealed, and where cooperatives and companies play a fundamental role since they act as a vehicle to reach in a direct way to the farmer. Clisol. Clisol is an example of family micro-firm associated to a SAT, means Agricultural Transformation Society, which is a hybrid form with characteristic of a cooperative and an investor-owned firm. Clisol Agro is a good example of a coop which combines the three main elements of the economy in Almeria: agriculture, sustainability, and tourism, with the aim of demystifying misconceptions about Mediterranean agriculture and the plastic by organizing guiding tours explaining the technological and environmental aspects of its facilities. Clisol Agro belongs to a family with a large agricultural tradition by combining three important economic pillars in Almeria: agriculture, tourism, and the natural environment. The company has two types of production: greenhouses and an experimental greenhouses. By involving in agrotourism, Clisol offers guided visits to different types of greenhouses in several languages: Spanish, English, French, and German. Visitors received information and knowledge on the history of agriculture in Almeria, sustainable practices, and technology applied. Clisol Agro also offers training to other agricultural producers and agricultural experts on the latest innovations in the sector, and on exports also organizes workshops for children to improve their knowledge of agriculture and on the natural environment.